this weekend?
No, we didn't do any tournaments.
Yeah, not in the spring? You looking forward to the break? I jump right into baseball, so that's 3 days a week again. So
He sits outside or something.
it's nice. You can bring a cooler full of waters and cold snacks and some water, a couple of chairs.
Yeah, ready for a.
You say you put water in your skin.
I, have they given out? Like in the past 2 weeks, months? A total of 11, but don't quote me. It's in, yeah, if you ever see a card and you can get a plate or a picture, those are most of the best things in the world. So, yeah, get a license plate and maybe a picture of the vehicle, and maybe it's a logo. You know, we'd love to talk to them. So, yeah. But you gotta call us. What happens? You know, call us. Yeah. Yeah. We're trying to look out for the kiddos. So, absolutely, we're open 24 hours, 7 days a week. So, yeah. It's every city has it, you just don't hear about it. You know, but you know, obviously most of the speed limits are 25 around town, so yeah. Well, yeah, it's only going to get busier with it being the summer, so yeah. Oh, they better. Yeah. Well, have a great night.
Leaving your snot rags all over the place.
Nah, I cleaned my screen off with it.
Miss all this action. You're gonna miss all this action.
I was lazy.
Council, let's make sure those lights are green. We are less than 1 minute away from starting. All right, that clock has struck 30. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance.
indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I want to begin with good evening to council, department heads, and our members of public that are here both in chambers and tuning in online. I would like to now pass it to our clerk, Tomasic, who will take roll.
Schumate?
Here.
Cox?
Here.
McNabb?
Here.
Mulnar?
Here.
Valentine?
Here.
Walden?
Here.
Wood? Here.
We have a full house this evening, so no absent members to excuse. Before we get started, just a couple of comments. Number one, we just came out of our budget hearing. So for members of public that were able to tune in or were here in chambers with us, council had a study session on May 5th, a week ago today, regarding the budget for 2025-2026. We then segued to a public hearing this evening, which started at 5:30 p.m. here in chambers. That's recorded online for anybody that wants to take a look at the replay. But I wanted to make sure that everybody's aware that that took place. That will segue to our next council meeting, which has been shifted to be the 28th due to the holiday, where council will be tasked with approving that budget for 25-26 full year. In the opening commentary of the public hearing, well, not related to the public hearing, I just want to say a couple things. Number one, I want to wish a very, very, very heartfelt National Police Week to all of the law enforcement that have sacrificed and served the communities across this country. But most importantly for us here in this room, Chief Bullard and your department, our Gibraltar Police Department, I just want to extend our immense gratitude for everything that you do to protect and serve this amazing city that we call home, especially in light of the incident last night. Number two, I want to segue that to what is next week, which is EMS week. So for Interim Chief Simon, I know that's going to be a topic of discussion this evening, but in advance, thank you to all of those in EMS that again serve this community and communities across this country. And then last but not least, I want to give a special shout out to Clerk Tomasic, because last week was Municipal Clerk Week. So Clerk Tomasic, thank you for everything you do to keep us on track and accountable each and every day, and obviously hold down the office each and every day for the community that you serve. So with that being said, I'd like to turn us over to approval of the agenda this evening. Members of public and council, in front of you, you'll see the agenda this evening. We do not have any modifications to the agenda this evening. So is there a motion to approve the agenda?
Mr. Mayor, may I?
Yeah, please.
We have State House Representative Riley Lenting and her coworker Phil that'll be in attendance today. I asked that they could be put on the agenda relatively early for just some hello and comments once they get here. Maybe before, after communications, before your report.
Yeah, absolutely. Or I can welcome them during my report.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you. Any other comments related to the agenda this evening? All right, council, be looking for a motion to approve the agenda as reflected in the public notice and in your packet.
Motion to approve the agenda.
Motion by Walden, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Molnar. Any discussion? Clerk Tomasic, please call roll.
Cox.
Yes.
McNabb.
Yes.
Mulnar.
Yes.
Schumate.
Yes.
Valentine.
Yes.
Walden.
Yes.
Wood. Yes.
Motion carried. With an approved agenda, we'd like to turn over to the floor for public comment. Members of public, we'd love to hear from you. If you have any public comment for council, please approach that podium. Make sure that light is green, and please state your name and address.
Michelle Osendorp, 30342 Adams. I would like to thank the mayor, the council, and the police chief in response to the public comments that were made last week, our last meeting, concerning the stop signs. I was not planning on coming back to talk about this so soon, but the comments made by an uninformed, rather angry man made my blood boil, and I decided I had to, set the record straight. Here tonight are neighbors and friends of mine who helped me with the petition. They signed it, and they are happy with the stop signs that we currently have, but we feel like we need to continue to make further adjustments. Yes, talking to the mayor the first time, and the petition was about the tragic loss of a wonderful dog named Tito. He was part of my family. His owner is the most loving and caring dog mom around, and not negligent in any way, as was implied by an uninformed, ignorant public comment last meeting. The dogs, including Tito, are well-trained. They're therapy dogs. They're in my office every day, and they help people every day. But they're still dogs. So they do have their own instincts and impulses. That being said, as we struggled with how to have something good come out of the heartbreak of the sudden and tragic loss, I have talked to many of my neighbors I haven't talked to in 25 years. The majority told me that the speeding had been an issue for that long, if not longer, and that they had tried to make changes and that nothing had happened. I have owned many dogs. I have walked in the city, and I have been nearly hit by speeding cars, as I've told you before, and I also know other dog owners that have. It's not just about the dogs, it's about the kids who ride their bikes or play in the yards that are right next to the road with no sidewalk, and people are speeding or not paying attention. Kids and dogs are unfortunately impulsive, and the adults need to take action and responsibility. The petition signed by the residents asked for solutions from our local government for the speeding problem. You have all listened and did careful study of the problem. The man who spoke last meeting was concerned about the cost, and in my mind, a non-man speeding sign that confirms what your residents are telling you, and a one-time purchase of a stop sign seems like a pretty cost-effective problem solver. You all listened and you did careful study of the problems. So I want to thank you, the mayor, the members of the council, and the police chief, for listening to the 80 residents that signed the petition, for taking the time to listen and study the issues and make our city full of children and pets a little safer for all of us. The whole experience has been very heartbreaking and traumatic. The words of a fellow resident who does not know the whole story and just upset it takes him 2 more minutes to get out of the city. I really hope nothing happens to anybody in his family like this. In addition, friends I know in other parts of the city have been asking me about, expressed interest in the speed signs and having speed studies done in their area. I also ask at this time what has happened to the stop sign that was going to go on Bayview that you approved for the first signs. And for all those who complain about having to slow down or stop at a stop sign, they should be happy they don't live in Wyandotte or Trenton, because you stop at every corner. So I would like to thank you again for your time, and please continue to look out for the best interests of the residents of Gibraltar.
Thank you so much for your comments. Good evening. Make sure that light's still green, and please state your name and address.
My name is Julie Brandt. I live at 29832 Monroe Street in a lovely old house that was built by one of the Monroes, and I'm hoping to keep it lovely. I received communication from the city and from some construction company called Absolute Quality, Inc. I received this stuck in my front door, which I thought was a very unprofessional and absurd way to deliver a contract. The contract is absurd. It wants, if I sign this, it would give absolution of any liability to the city of Gibraltar and to the contractor for the work they're going to perform on replacing the lead service line. I want to know something about this because it just doesn't seem right.
Well, thank you so much for coming this evening. I know there's been extensive discussions around the lead and copper activities here in the city of Gibraltar, originating from the grant we received for the funds that we're allocating towards a trajectory here. I'll turn to our city administrator and our attorney as appropriate to maybe give an update on Absolute Quality and where that stands and why you received that notice.
Excuse me. Absolute Quality had won the bid to replace the lead lines. And it is their responsibility to go to all the homeowners with the lead lines and to schedule replacement of that lead line.
So that's why you received the notice. I think what I'm hearing from you is your concerns are on the language and the communication delivered to you.
Definitely.
City Attorney, I don't know if we want to take that as a follow-up perhaps, just so that we can make sure we follow up with her on her concerns and how that relates to the obligation. Long story short, we have to get that lead line replaced and fixed, and that's going to benefit you in the future.
Exactly, and I appreciate it being done. But to not hold somebody liable for excavation and construction, like going through the basement floor, I mean, and I've got a sidewalk, I've got mature plantings there. I want to know who and what and how big this hole's going to be, and
All very reasonable. So here's my commitment to you. I will make sure that I personally work with our DPW, our city administrator, our DPW leading up to today, or the notice that you received, have worked hard to be communicators and share what's going on, why it's going on, when it's going on. But we'll take a personal follow-up to follow up with you so that the experts involved can answer any questions and maybe review in more detail.
well, I would appreciate it.
Absolutely.
And I just don't expect this kind of communication to be stuck in my front door.
I appreciate the comment. Thank you for coming to council, and you have our commitment that we have your address, we have your name. We're grateful for your longstanding presence in the community. Hope you stay, and we'd love to follow up with you on the details of that communication.
I thank you.
Thank you
for
so
listening.
much. Are there any additional members of public that would like to address council? And then Representative Linting, we'd love to turn over to you if you'd like to approach the podium after public's done.
Pardon me?
Oh, your floor is yours. Name and address and make sure that light is still green.
Bonnie Cross, 13336 Gerald Street, Gibraltar. I would also like to thank the mayor and the council for what's been done with the stop signs. I do believe it has helped. I have noticed people slowed down. We still like, and I agree with everything that Dr. Ostendorp said in her comments. But so I wanted to thank you for that very much. But I do have another problem that I'd like to bring up.
Please.
And that is these kids on these skateboards. They never stop at stop signs. They have no protection. Grandview, I was coming home the other day, and two of them were coming across Grandview from the water side right in front of my car. I don't know how I missed them. And then I see them riding around this town double. And they never stop at a stop sign or anything. And I saw a Gibraltar police car again out on Jefferson. But I'd like to make a comment or ask a question about the last time I was here. The police department told me how many speeding tickets were written. I would like to know how many of them were Gibraltar residents when they're setting out on Jefferson before this whole thing started about the stop signs. So I'm curious why we're out on Jefferson when we've got a speeding problem right here in Gibraltar proper.
I appreciate the comments. Director of Public Safety Bullard, I'll turn the floor to you if you have anything you'd like to respond with.
We only have 10 officers on the department, on top of, taking emergency calls and being emergency medical technicians. Most of the time, we're only one, possibly two people on the road at a time. We can only be one place at a time. So we try to do what we can. As far as the kids on skateboards, we understand that they're young children of the city of Gibraltar. Obviously, we try to guide them, but again, we can't be everywhere at once.
Well, I
So
understand you
we try
can't
to
be around all the
proactive.
time.
So,
But those couple nice days we had a little while ago, they were everywhere, and riding double. If they fall off them, no head, no helmets, no nothing. But now you want us to put seat belts on our golf carts for kids, but these kids are flying through stop signs? And, I wanted to ask about the seat belts. Do we have to go have them installed like in the car? Or can we put a belt around a post in the back and put it around the child, like a belt that we wear? What are you asking for with these seat belts?
I think the theme here generally across every area you've raised is we want to look out for the safety of our community above everything. So Director of Public Safety, anything you'd like to comment about?
I agree with the seat belts for these kids, but what are you asking us to do?
Glad to take that as a follow-up unless there's any initial information you'd like to share.
the golf carts with the city of Gibraltar have to be in compliance. So,
Yes, I understand that. So what do we do, have to take our golf cart someplace and have seat belts installed, or can we put a belt around the post and back of the seat and around the child?
why don't you give me a call tomorrow in my office, and I'd be more than happy to have a discussion with you, and maybe we'll discuss it, okay? Maybe there's some
Well,
options
I'm
out
sure
there.
there's other people here that would like to know the answer to that question.
I would say he's offering a conversation to discuss the details, and we can obviously share a follow-up. Obviously, there's clear policies in place that we've shared, but make sure that we can discuss those details. And to your point, if the broader public is aware, they can always reach out to any of us. We're an open door, including Chief. I was here every
And I
day.
agree with everything in the letter about, you've made some statements about the better ways of people riding golf carts, because so many people were abusing it with the number of people on it and everything else. But they're running stop signs too, so.
Thank you so much. Is there any additional members of public that would like to address council this evening? Keep in mind, we have public comment also at the end of our meeting as well.
Sean LaFleur, 30744 Adams. I just wanted to reiterate on what you said about Police Week. We have the best department, hands down. They are there before we're there. They make sure that we are safe. I don't think I could do that. I don't think I'd want to do it, especially at my age, because, you get older, you get grumpy. Shh, don't tell anybody. But, so thank you and your team, because we appreciate what you do, and we couldn't do what we do without them. So thank you.
Incredibly well said. Good evening.
Cindy Fescal, 29415 Adams Drive. What I like to see is a study done in Grandview and Adams. Because you got that whole space, that nobody, that goes all the way to Stolift, and it's almost, 3/4 of a mile or something? So I think, right, because I know there's one right on Grandview, but it's only a two-way stop. We got a four-way stop there, but I'd like to see a study done on it.
Okay,
Thank you.
I can comment on that. I'm trying to do one study at a time. Right now, we have 2 weeks left
Okay.
in the Adams and Stoflet study.
Okay.
After that, I received another complaint. I'm going to start another 2 to 4 week study in between on Stoflet between Adams and Bayview. I got another complaint there, and then after that, I can address your issue at Grandview and Adams.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you so much.
Green light, huh?
Make sure that light's still green, and then name and address for us, please.
Okay, Cindy Buford, I live at 30350 Adams Drive.
Good evening.
Good evening. I'm one of Michelle's neighbors and Bonnie's neighbors, and I've been in the city now, this is my 32nd year, and I've been a walker for all of those years. And in the last, I'd say like 5 years, it had become a problem with, I'd even change my walk schedule. I'd say, okay, I'm not walking from 7 in the morning till like 9. I usually walk around 10 o'clock because of the traffic and everything. But I do want to say that with the addition of the stop signs, it seems to be a little better. And I would really support more stop signs because of walking and stuff like that. It's just a lot better that way, I believe. So nothing to complain about, just saying, hey, it's a little bit better since the stop sign turned up.
Really appreciate that feedback, and I know this administration, led obviously in the efforts with Director of Public Safety Bullard, have been taking this very seriously and putting data behind the topic that's been lingering for quite some time and using the data to help inform action. So I really appreciate your sentiment there.
Absolutely.
Are there any additional public comment at the opening? And keep in mind, if there's anything else that comes up in your mind or you hear during the broader agenda, we have a public comment at the end as well. Well, if there's no further public comment, Representative Linting, did you have anything you'd like to address council with?
Thank you, Mayor Schumate, and thank you to our law enforcement officers and members of the City Council. I just wanted to stop in. I really appreciate you giving me the opportunity to speak. I just wanted to give a brief little update. I know you have important business to get to, so I'll keep it brief, but ultimately, I just want to make sure you know that I'm accessible, and if anyone has any questions, you can reach out to my office, and we'd love to be helpful. But to start, so upon taking office, there was actually a Supreme Court order that was set to go into effect in February that was going to change and actually eliminate our tipped credit and change earned sick time policies. And we were able to work in a bipartisan fashion to make sure that we are able to both support our workers, protect their tips, and make sure that these regulations are reasonable for our small businesses so they're able to keep their doors open. And so if anyone owns a small business, works at a small business, or a business of any size and has any questions about what that entails, don't hesitate to reach out. We can get you some more information on that. What I'm sure everyone's curious about is our state's budget. That's what we're working on, and we're hoping to pass a budget in September. In the meantime, I want everyone to know that my priorities are infrastructure, public safety, and education. The last budget we passed was $83 billion. The governor has now proposed an $86 billion state budget. And I think it's absolutely critical that with those dollars, we are prioritizing education, public safety, and infrastructure. And that's what's gotten away from us. And so one thing that we did to kind of improve that issue is in the House, we passed a resolution to make sure legislator names have to be attached to earmarks in the budget. So if I'm requesting money from the state, I have to be willing to sponsor that. And so we're promoting transparency, accountability, and ethics. So you can look up what I requested, but I'll share that with you. And we also voted to ban non-disclosure agreements for legislators and shut the revolving door so that we don't have legislators planning out who they're lobbying for the second they leave office. And so those efforts, I think, will really have a positive impact when we're working on our budget and making sure that we are sticking to our priorities because we don't have a revenue issue, we have a spending issue. Some of my budget asks that have been submitted, one is for the DCTC program, which some of you might be familiar with. It will help promote our skilled trades. It is a program that Gibraltar utilizes, Groseal, Trenton, Riverview, Flat Rock, Huron, Airport, and it helps our high schoolers get set up for success in whatever field that may be. My budget requests also include $3 million for the Middle Gibraltar Road Bridge and a little over $1 million for emergency vehicles. So that's what I have in currently. And I'll keep you updated with the progression of that as negotiations begin and once we get a more set in stone number of what that will look like. So I'd love to come back and update you on that. And then I guess I will wrap it up by saying I do know it has been voiced to me that there are some concerns with soil and water testing and why that might be occurring. And so I just want to let everyone know that I will reach out to Eagle and be in communication with them. And I'd love to come back with an update and some answers on that for you. So yeah, if anyone has anything, I'll stick around for a little bit longer. Otherwise, I can also leave some business cards back there. And so if anyone wants to grab one on their way out and reach out with any questions, we'd love to be helpful. So thank you
so
again
much
for
for
giving me the
advocating
opportunity.
for Gibraltar. Appreciate it.
Of course, of course. Thank you so much.
All right. Well, if there's no further public comments, we will close public comment. Again, keep in mind you'll have another session at the end of today's meeting, and it will bring us to our consent agenda. Council, in your packet and on our agenda, you'll see items A through G. Item A, bills reference number 21A and B. Item B, payroll number 54 and 955. Item C, city council minutes of 4/28/25. Item D, city council study session minutes of 5/5/25. Item E, beautification commission minutes of 5/5/25. Item F, recreation committee minutes of 5/6/25. And lastly, item G, fire department payroll, April of 2025. Council will be looking for a motion to approve consent agenda items A through G.
Mayor, I just wanted to bring something up real quick. For the study session that we had on May 5th.
Yep.
It has me marked as absent, but I was present for that meeting. I don't know if we need to amend that or pull it out, or.
I can amend those, and then I will bring them back at our next meeting, amended.
Okay.
Okay.
So do we want to then consider an approval of, for example, a modified consent agenda, removing the minutes of the study session? So it could be approval of items A, B, and D through G, or City Attorney, any other guidance on how you'd like that procedurally taken care of?
Just amending the one section, then just remove it and then approve with that removal.
All right, so council, we'll be looking for a motion to remove the study session minutes of 5/5/25, which is item D from the consent agenda per Councilman Walden's request.
Motion to remove the study session minutes from the consent agenda.
Second.
Second by Molnar. Any further discussion on that matter? Katie will, Clerk Domestic will make sure we update those and put that back in front of council. And if no further discussion, Clerk Domestic will let you call roll.
McNabb?
Yes.
Molnar?
Yes.
Schumate?
Yes.
Valentine?
Yes.
Walden?
Yes.
Wood? Yes. Cox?
Yes.
Motion carried. So now that that item has been removed, is there a motion to approve consent agenda recognizing that amendment?
Motion made.
Motion by Molnar, is there a second?
Second.
Give it to Rick.
Clerk Tomasic, you got Cox or Walden?
Walden.
All right, Walden got it. Any discussion on that? And then Clerk Tomasic, whenever you're ready, we'll have you call roll.
Molnar?
Yes.
Schumate?
Yes.
Valentine?
Yes.
Walden?
Yes.
Wood? Yes. Cox?
Yes.
McNabb?
Yes.
Motion carried. Next item on the agenda is communications, for which we have none this evening.
I'm sorry, Mr.
Oh, yeah,
Mayor.
please.
One thing I wanted to say, I meant to pick it up in discussion there for that meeting, was just to pay special attention to the Recreation Commission meeting minutes. I don't, if anybody hasn't had an opportunity to look through this, 2 pages are pretty thorough, and especially the second half of it really talks about some outlook for things that are coming up that Austin and his team have prepared. And after meeting with Austin and Amy, from a budget perspective, appreciate his frugalness and excitement that he's brings to the table. So we have some exciting updates that are in that 2-page Recreation Commission minutes that that'll really be fun for this summer and beyond.
I love that flag, and thank you, Parks and Recreation Director, your commission members for all the work you're doing and laying the foundation for the future. There's no communications this evening, which will bring us to my report. Council, members of public, I have 3 items. I'll start with item A, which is an update on strategic priorities. If you look at the updates which we've committed to giving council each meeting, I'll just flag a few things. First, on the water loss and the flood control measures, obviously a critical strategic pillar for us in Gibraltar. We did receive the meter reads and the report from GLEVA. Replacement of those meters that we had discussed previously has led to a detection of previously unmetered water usage and a reduction in our loss percentage, specifically loss from 38% in Q4 to 32% in Q1. But recognize that these are lagging reads related to the meter reads and the billing cycles. So more updates will continue. We obviously announced our leak detection results and had some discussions on that. We continue to work on that in partnership with Rains and Benesh to make sure our system is tight. But the good news is the ball seems to be moving in the right direction and reducing our water loss percentile. Leak detection, as we discussed, and it's reflected in your updates, the leak detection was completed across our entire system. We did identify 2 leaks, one of which seemed to be over 30 million gallons of water. We've now stopped said leak, and we're working on the rectification of that identification. But the good news is that that effort through Benesh and our partnership has led to a higher level of confidence in the tightness of our system, which will then progress into phase 2 and beyond, including looking at the accounting and the meters across the city of Gibraltar to make sure we set that element up for success. So ball's moving in the right direction. Administration, thank you so much for the support, and Infrastructure Advisory Committee's been critical every step of the way. With that being said, the next thing you'll see is Benesh and the proposals for phase 2 and beyond. So council, keep your eyes open for that. The next item, which I think is important, is in context of flood control. Hats off to the team, and I say team, DPW, Chief Bullard, and the dispatch operation, everybody involved in getting ahead of the curve, meaning monitoring Mother Nature, monitoring our water levels, leveraging our pumps where we need to make sure that we reduce or mitigate flooding in the city of Gibraltar. So just hats off. I think the trend has been incredibly positive there, and it's a reflection of the work and the process and procedure by the teams. We did hit our partners and elected officials with funding requests, and you heard Representative Linting call out some in her advocacy for Gibraltar. Some of the funding requests we did put in there is also related to stormwater and flood control, including outfall valves and other necessary investments that will help reduce the risk of flood and better control stormwater here in the city of Gibraltar. Moving on to infrastructure improvements more broadly, I know we talked a lot about in the public hearing. The bridge, we have 8 bridges. We have many bridges that are in poor condition. Representative Linting mentioned Middle Gibraltar Bridge, which has been our highest priority ask for funding. But we did obviously have progression in the report and analyses around the Horse Island Bridge, so stay tuned for further discussion on that matter, where we'll look at the different paths and what makes most financial and practical sense for the safety of this community and the bridge structurally. The next item I wanted to flag out is for the lead lines. You heard a resident comment on it. The good news is we're putting the funding to work, and we're finding lead lines and we're replacing lead lines. Those are a problem and need to be addressed. Obviously, we've had extensive discussions on that, but that's in flight, and you heard comments around absolute quality getting to work here in the community, and DPW and absolute quality to making sure they're communicating with residents accordingly. West Jefferson Water Main, we're very grateful for the funding there. Obviously, it's a water main that's in bad shape that we've had some issues with, so that's getting to work. You'll see that on the agenda later. In regards to Fishbeck, parking lot, we are working closely with Rains, our engineering partners, Infrastructure Advisory Committee, on specs to put that dollars to work to fix what are some pretty bad shape parking lots here related to DDA allocations. Roofs are ongoing discussions within the Infrastructure Advisory Committee. I won't be redundant on the other areas which have already been jobs that have been completed. Moving on to financials and process and procedures, we have our BS&A software. It's, I would say, allowed more technology incorporation and effective, accountable invoice review and approval. So just hats off to Finance Director McEwen, Treasurer Fonte, Chelsea, Mary, everybody in the office, City Administrator Blackburn, department heads for putting that software to work and for learning through the curve of integration and implementation. Budgets, we had our public hearing this evening. The good news is Gibraltar, you have an administration that's being very responsible with your dollars. And I know we talked everything from how your taxes are increased and the drivers for that to where we stand across all of our fund balances. You'll see, and you've heard in some of our even Plant Moran audits, for example, we have the highest revenue and we have the highest general fund balance we've ever had in the city of Gibraltar. Those are good data points. But we have to set ourselves up with a long horizon view of how we get to work, because we have a lot of neglect and a lot of deficit in regards to the dollars we need to fix what already exists, let alone set us up for the long-term strategy. So Thank you to the administration for being very methodical, and Finance Director McEwen for driving that budgetary process. Gas inventory, there's been some updates that we've discussed recently in regards to QR codes that our administration is trying to make sure that we have accountability in that lane, and we'll be working with the teams accordingly. Professional service reviews, we need to get our city planner and assessor in RFQ. So when you think about the idea there, we want to make sure that we can get the right professional services. And while Jane Dixon has been interim for us in regards to representing, I think she's done a great job in planning DDA. Councilman Cox is the representative there. We need to formalize those contracts. And so I have that on there as something that council needs to action. Additional actions required, walking bridges. I know John Sant, who's sitting in the back of the room there, has played a critical role in regards to that project, and we have some follow-ups there to make sure we address what are some pretty bad state walking bridge improvements that are required. Cell tower, we've given updates previously. Councilman Molnar and I are working accordingly to resolve the cell tower pathway for the long term, recognizing the lease expiration coming up. All these other updates, I think, are already been covered, so I won't be redundant. Council, the last thing on the strategic priority list that I want to flag for you is City Administrator Blackburn's last day here present in the city of Gibraltar is today. And so City Administrator Blackburn, I just want to thank you for your service to Gibraltar and for your contributions in your role. And City Administrator Blackburn has worked to make sure we have a list of in-flight action items that are required to make sure that we know what balls need to be accounted for as we transition for the future, which will be a topic that's later on my agenda. But you'll see here, Council, included in your strategic priority list is a bullet-pointed list of all the hot items that are in flight that need to be addressed that we can't lose sight of as we transition city administrator support. Any questions, comments, inquiries on the strategic priorities? Anything we're missing? Okay. Next topic on my agenda this evening is transition of our water license. With City Administrator Blackburn's transition, we need to consider a motion by council to allow Rains to carry our water license in the interim until we resolve the future of our city administrator presence. Just for context, we've done this before. It's about $494 a month for Rains to carry that water license. So council, I'd be looking for a motion to allow interim transition of the water license to Bruce and Rains as we define our future city administrator position.
I'll make that motion.
We got a motion by Cox. Is there a second?
Second.
A second by Valentine, if I heard correctly. Any discussion on that matter? Obviously, council, this will be interim until we resolve the future position. All right. No discussion. Clerk Tomasic.
Have we looked at any other options?
Amy, do you know if there's been any other options we've explored beyond Rains who we've used in the past for that interim need?
I don't believe so. I believe we've just gone with Rains. It's been the easiest thing to do in the interim since they're already our engineers.
So
And
it
it's-
looks like the answer is no.
Is it still the $600 a month?
Yeah, it's about 494, I think, to be exact, was the forecast.
And he doesn't even charge us all the time. If he doesn't do any work, he usually doesn't charge us.
I think that's a really important point. Not only their familiarity and historical ability, but
Yeah, there's like one where there was a bit of charging because there was a lot of work he had to do, and then there's other times when there's barely anything going on, so.
yeah, I looked at the analytics for the meeting and Amy's spot on. Like, for example, 494 was a calculated conservative average, but there was the high 100s for a month, for example. So
Okay.
it's really, I would say, build on use.
Understood. Thank you.
Any further discussion? Clerk Tomasic, I'll have you call roll.
Schumate?
Yes.
Valentine?
Yes.
Walden?
Yes.
Wood?
Yes.
Cox?
Yes.
McNabb?
Yes.
Mulnar?
Yes.
That motion is carried, so we will look to work with Rains to make sure that water license is transitioned. That brings me to my last item for you, council. Clerk Tomasic, thank you so much for being the central recipient for all the applicants. Council, as of today, Clerk Tomasic, please keep me honest, 13 applicants for the city administrator position. Council, hopefully you've had a chance to take a look at those resumes and associated letters and information provided to you by Clerk Tomasic, but just a couple things I want to throw out there. One is, I think our pathway together as administration is giving us a lot of insight into what we need to be successful when it comes to our city administrator and our broader support. Two is when you look at the applicants we got, as I was perusing the different resumes, we have a diversity of background and expertise, from professors to Parks and Recreation directors to Director of Public Safety personnel, to township supervisors, to village managers, to directors of finance, to CFOs, to city managers, to clerks, to finance. Across those 13 applicants, we have quite a diversity of talent. And I think one thing that we've discussed is, number one, how do we look at this structure to make sure it's set up for success? There's a lot of what's being asked for that position according to ordinance language. And we've learned practically where we need strength and what this city operation needs for, obviously, sustainability for the long term. And I'll just say this. I think for me, what I'd like to understand from council is, number one, I think the interview process we've used in the past, meaning schedule allocations of time, have an individual come up to the podium, go through questions publicly across all council members. I think I've gotten a lot of feedback, and we've discussed, council, that we want to modify that approach. So one thing I'm asking for your support on is, as we look at this current talent pool that we have across 13 applicants, taking a modified approach that we discussed, where we'd have a smaller group setting, 2 to 3 council members or elected officials, in different conference rooms where we can kind of rotate applicants in a more intimate environment. Obviously, we can work together on defining the questions and the content for those discussions, but I really like the suggestions from many of you on that approach. I think it's going to be a more effective way of interviewing as contrasted by our previous approaches. So that's number one. I'd like your support if that's something we want to pursue, and consider any timing for that approach if we want to implement that for the 13 we have. I think the other element of this is, as we look at this talent pool, making sure we can evaluate them for the applications we've requested, but have some discussions around what we want this structure to look like for the future and how we can set that up for success. I think a part of that is informed by our insights and what we know are our needs. A part of it's looking at this talent pool through the interview process to see what they could bring or not bring. And then we could obviously have a study session or other means of really discussing what we think the success would look like, applicants relative to future needs for the city. So in summary, I think as we look at the applicant pool today, I'd like to make sure that, out of respect for those applicants that have put themselves forth, we have a path. Obviously, we have the last day of in-person presence with City Manager Blackburn today, so perhaps if we are open to that small group interview approach, we could obviously shortlist across the applicant pool of 13 and then do an intimate kind of interview schedule where we'd have groups of 2 or 3 in different conference rooms. I consulted with our city attorney. Open Meetings Act is something we always have to abide by, so out of safety, we've done the previous interviews public. We'd probably want to post those as public notice that those dates are taking place, but obviously we'll be holding them in a conference room session with a small group of council members. So I guess I want to open this for discussion. Number one, are we supportive of the small group approach? 2, do we have a timeline we want to maybe schedule to consider reviewing some of this current applicant pool? And then 3, I think that process will help us inform what we see in this talent pool, what we don't see in this talent pool, what structural considerations we want, and a study session could be scheduled as we need to.
Yeah, I think it's a great idea to break that down. I'm supportive of that and having smaller group sessions and like you said, more intimate sessions where people can be more open and more dialogue back and forth, a little less intimidating from standing at the lectern. Supportive of that. Timing-wise, I do think it's of a relative importance to get to these interviews sooner than later.
Yeah.
I'd like to see them happen in May.
I love it.
And then third consideration being the tools and resources that these applicants bring to the table. Do they fit all of the 18 duties that we're asking them to do, or do we consider modifying our ordinance as necessary to consider other measures for DPW type of positions? So I'm supportive of all of the above.
I think the beauty of this too is that from a timeline, I agree with everything you said, spot on. And I think as we learn from these interviews, what we see as strengths or weaknesses, we could always, whether it's myself or a group of council, schedule a special meeting in the interim if we want to have a discussion around the structural aspects of the role and context of the applicants. I would like to get to work, as Councilman Molnar put, real soon here. So if council's open to it, maybe last time how we approached it, at least for the sake of planning, was Councilman McNabb, Councilwoman Wood, and I had kind of like helped coordinate interview timing and brought it to council. But I guess my first question is, like, would we be open, depending on the applicant pool, for getting these on the calendar as early as next week? Does anybody have an issue? Is anybody out of town or out of capacity for having an interview or interviews in this small group setting next week? No? is everybody open to, do we want to have the same group, meaning Councilman McNabb, Councilman Wood, and I can work to reach out to these applicants in partnership with Clerk Tomasic and see what their availability is for next week, and then work across council to figure out what the scheduling could look like? We could modify it as you please. I just think that was already in place, just for the sake of scheduling.
Yeah, I'm supportive of that.
Okay. Let's see what the applicant pool availability looks like. We'll get to work. Obviously, we can reach out as appropriate offline with council to coordinate, and then we can schedule those, and we'll work with Clerk Tomasic to make sure she has notice on public hearing, just to make sure we're safe. Because city attorney educated me on just, it could be, even if you have two in a room, if there's multiple rooms in the same setting, it could be construed as Open Meetings Act considerations, and we want to make sure that we're doing that appropriately. All right. Okay, cool. So Councilwoman Wood and Councilman McNabb will go on the path together for making some phone calls. I'll get some time with you so we can start reaching out to folks. And then council will be in touch to look at next week. And Clerk Tomasic will make sure we don't squeeze you on the public notice front. All right. Council, any other questions for me? And then as we go through this process, I can request via email a special meeting, or council can do that as we look at kind of the structural considerations. I know Treasurer Fonte said no. I know we've had a lot of discussions around different ways we can look at the future of that role. So I think it's a good opportunity for us to learn along the way and have some discussions accordingly. All right, that closes my report, and I'd like to segue us to our council reports. So Councilman Valentine, you want to talk to us about 33rd District Court?
I have no report.
No report. Is there any questions for Councilman Valentine this evening? Councilwoman Wood, do you want to take us to Beautification Commission and Historical Museum?
Sure. Okay, let's see, beautification, we had cleanup day on Saturday. We didn't have very many people, but the people that came, the volunteers that came, did an awful lot of work in a short amount of time, and I'm very happy. Most of it is around the community center. Did you notice any difference? Okay. So that went pretty well. And what we're waiting for now is May 23rd. That's when we go and pick up our flowers. So we wanted to have everything ready, set, so we could go ahead and use that. And I did talk to Mr. Sant about the Kubota, and I drove that around on Saturday just to make sure I was okay with it. And, you know, it's working for the moment. You know, I have to get used to some of the things. One time I couldn't get it started. I had my husband come and start it. But we're working on that, so I'm happy with that. So that's beautification. We're just getting ready for flowers, which is exciting for us. That's what we do. And our museum was open, and it was our 13th anniversary. And again, you know, we don't always have a big showing. We never know how many people are going to show up. But we did have people, so as I say that we've been open 13 years, and I've never been skunked. So we've always had somebody at the museum, and I'm happy about that. So, and people can come anytime if you want to have a private tour, whatever. If you have family in town and they want to see it, just call me. I mean, we can open it anytime. So that's it.
Awesome updates, thank you, and thanks to all that helped contribute to some of the efforts you mentioned.
I'm looking at Tim there, but people are still bringing items. They are still coming to the museum, not empty-handed, but bringing photos and lots of information. So, you know, I think that's exciting.
That's awesome, thank you. Any questions for Councilman Wood? All right, Councilman Cox.
No report.
Any questions for Councilman Cox? Councilman McNabb.
As far as the Waterways Commission, we'll be doing the lighting work probably next week. We'll be deploying the new buoys Wednesday. And as far as the ADW, I have my first meeting tomorrow at 1 o'clock tomorrow. Looks like we'll be working on the old weed harvester Thursday, see if we can get this thing rolling and get it repainted.
Fantastic.
And that's all I have for you right now.
That's awesome. And I think you mentioned to me, Mr. Overwater, as part of the commission, I think had gotten a phone call from the county. So it looks like hopefully the new acquisition is rolling.
Yes, yeah, I understand that, yeah.
Do you have a question?
Hopefully that'll move ahead.
I do. This is kind of for the Waterways Commission and possibly also the historical side. We have the old Rockwall Jetty that goes from the western tip of the Humbug gas docks to the southern channel marker.
Correct.
In the opening of the inlet to the Gibraltar Canals on the north side. From what I understand, historically, that was installed by the city of Gibraltar, maybe in the 50s, maybe before then. And the idea at that time was to improve water flow through the canals to reduce sediment buildup and seaweed growth. At some point, it became inactive and or neglected. At some point, I understand that it was above the water line. It's below the water line now. That's what those those rock boundary markers are installed for, is to warn boaters that there's shallow depth in that area. I don't know from a historical perspective if the city of Gibraltar remains the owner of that property, or if that is privately owned, and or if they remain, if the city remains responsible for it, or if there is state, federal, or private ownership interest in that. Is it may be something that we want to look at again, as a low water period is going to be forth upon us, most likely based on historical perspective. The increased flow of water and reduced sediment buildup and algae growth or biological growth is going to be of importance going forward, a little bit more than it has been in the last 4 years. So it might be something that we want to look into, and if anybody on our waterways or historical has insight on that, or has material that we could look into to make sure that we could determine ownership or responsibility of that, we could look at what type of modifications we could consider for healthy waterways.
I think it's an awesome suggestion. I don't know,
Yeah, maybe
Councilman
get a
McNabb,
grant-
if you have any
maybe-
reaction.
Yeah, maybe get a grant to rebuild the wall, or, yeah.
Maybe something to discuss at the next commission meeting, depending on timing, or to ad hoc it and
We've
figure out.
discussed it before, and I've looked up at the pictures up in the museum, and you can see it, but it's really not there, but it was there at one time to divert water into the canal.
Well, I know John Hartig, who is quarterbacked a lot of the, I don't know if it's the Friends of Detroit River, what organization he's part of. He's part of the state or federal government, I'm not sure. But I know that he's been instrumental in advocating for, getting funding for, and the projects along the southern side of Celeron Island, southern side of Sugar Island, and also the Stony habitat as well. So might be a resource that we can consider discussing if there's programs out there that we've got local successful appropriation with. It might be something that we could consider pitching, so that we could, it kills two birds with one stone. It really helps our recreational boaters avoid damage to their vessels, and it also increases the water flow through our canal systems, which is really vital to our property tax values as well. So it's something that we should really, take a consideration of.
That's an awesome suggestion. I got good contacts over the Friends of Detroit River. I'm sure some of us do as well. So I'm glad to facilitate at least an email connection. Councilman McNabb, if you want to.
I may see him there tomorrow.
Oh, perfect.
At the ADW.
Awesome.
I'm sure he's there.
Awesome call out. Let's take that as an action. I'm glad to support however needed. And then Councilman Wood from a historical perspective, and we can look at, kind of archives and understanding of what that previous pull any parties in for the discussion, so.
Yeah, and ultimately, if there's any folks at home that are watching it, this meeting on the different streaming venues that we have available, in the comments or call up later this week and give us your historical knowledge of it, all of that will be helpful to us. So feel free to comment and call.
Love it. Thank you. Any other questions or comments for Councilman McNabb? Councilman Molnar, floor is yours.
Thank you. I have very, very little report. Prospective council person that is running, Tim Garrett, running in November. Him and I met with State Representative Riley Linting on Friday, and just wanted to say thank you to her and her staff for being here today. They're very accessible and very focused. their office is paying attention to what's going on, and I really like the bill that she mentioned out here today about making sure that people's names, legislators' names are attached to their appropriation requests, because when people are looking for pork, they usually don't admit it. So forcing them to admit what they're looking for is going to be helpful in, like she said, reducing the spend. Responsible spend is what, we don't have a funding problem, it's a spending problem. And as long as we can rein that in, a lot of that comes true to us here in our own communities too. And we've done a very good job of that, I think, in our administration of controlling the spend. And it's something that we appreciate her team's focus on in Lansing to make sure that we continue to do that from a state perspective as well. And lastly, I just wanted to, re-acknowledge the organization of the recreation meeting minutes. I hope that Austin will give us an update here next after Councilman Walden on some of the bullet point items on that.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions for Councilman Molnar? Well, Councilman Walden, the floor is yours.
So I think you're going to get a pretty thorough Recreation Commission report tonight. You guys have the minutes in your packet. I just want to point out a few bullet points. One of the biggest things that I found very useful or very, I don't know the word I'm looking for, but one of the things that was talked about was with the new company that we're going with for the carnival. There's a potential for pre-sale wristbands and tickets for the carnival rides. I think Austin was working on getting that solidified to get that put on our website as well, so that the residents can order pre-sale tickets and try and skip the line. So I think that's going to be very convenient for them.
Love that.
4th of July planning is in full effect right now. I think a lot of the planning, for the most part, it's getting close to being done. A lot of it is just solidifying the vendors and things like that. So Director Reynolds is working on the budget right now. Once he has a solidified budget, he'll bring it to the DDA for approval. I know there was talks about looking for possible sponsorships to try and keep the cost down on the DDA. So that would be pretty beneficial. Another thing that was talked about, so the Rec Commission is looking to purchase T-shirts or some sort of apparel as identification while they're at the event. And I had thrown out the suggestion that if Director Reynolds wanted to look up some quotes and maybe design a shirt or something to bring it to council, maybe we could purchase those for them so that we can easily identify them while they're out there. So that should be coming to council here pretty soon as well. And then the last thing is, once 4th of July is done, I believe they're going to go into working on a new 5-year master plan and bringing that to us. So a lot of things moving. Very productive meeting that they had last week. And again, I can't speak any more highly on all the work that Director Reynolds is doing. So kudos to you. And then prior to 4th of July, we got Music in the Park that kicks off. Keep me honest here, I think the first one is June 26th, somewhere in there? Okay. So that's just something to look forward to as well. And that's all I got.
Thank you so much for the updates, and I think the sentiment is echoed on Parks and Recreation Director and the Commission. Any questions for Councilman Walden? Well, what a great segue. Parks and Recreation Director will welcome you to the podium.
All right, so I won't repeat too much of what was said. I'll try to keep it on new stuff. Obviously, 4th of July planning is in full effect. Tomorrow, I have a meeting with the National Fitness Campaign to discuss an outdoor fitness area for Gibraltar. Myself and the mayor will be in on that meeting with them to see. They've reached out to me to see if we can have an outdoor fitness. It's kind of like a square with fitness equipment on it. It's outdoor. We've got a perfect, beautiful place right here where I'm sure people would work out more if it was outdoor by the water. So we'll have a meeting with them, see exactly what that's about, and I'll get back to you on that. The baseball field, I don't know if anyone's drove by it, but the fences by the dugouts are down, and we've officially started renovating the baseball field. I'd like to give big thanks because a lot of this wouldn't have been possible without generous donations from local business, and it's material and labor donations, not monetary. So I would like to thank Mans Lumber, Gibraltar Boatyard, AJE Contracting. I know I'm forgetting some, but once it's complete, I'll give another round of thank yous to everyone that helps out. And then Bill Kane and John Sant have been very important on getting this off the ground and actually into effect. So that should be done here. Next couple weeks, we'll have poured dugouts, concrete dugouts. And then I'll be reaching out to Wayne County Parks they reached out to me, and then they're giving us $10,000 if I get a plan to them for allocated funds for us, if I have a park improvement. And I confirmed with them that the baseball field would be part of that. So if I get the plan to them, I needed the deed to the baseball field, and then I needed a plan and a legal description of the property. So I have that now, and I'm going to be getting that to them, and I'll come back in 2 weeks with an action item of, can we do this? It's $10,000, it's reimbursement, so we'll have to spend first, and they'll reimburse us after. But that will be for black vinyl chain link fence for the baseball field, so that'll look pretty nice for us. And then lastly, I'd like to talk about the discussion I had with Councilman Molnar and Finance Director McEwen about bringing sport leagues and clinics back to Gibraltar. So we're looking to do that in the next fiscal year. A soccer league was mentioned. It should be low cost to start up. It'll work right within the budget. That's one thing I'm looking to do. And then sport clinics, we can do anything. We can do basketball, soccer, fishing was talked about. I'd like to reach out to the Metro Park for golf. And so I would like to see a lot of youth sports brought back to Gibraltar. That's it.
Strong work. Thank you so much. Any questions for Parks and Recreation Director? Thank you for all you and the commissioner are doing. Appreciate it. All right, City Attorney, floor is yours.
Nothing to report.
Any questions for the City Attorney? All right, City Administrator Blackburn, floor is yours.
First item I have on the agenda is approval of the Fishbeck contract for the West Jefferson water main project.
Council will be looking for a motion to approve that contract. I know we've discussed this previously, and City Attorney, your eyes were on that as well, from what I understand.
Correct. Make that motion.
Motion by Cox, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Molnar. Any discussion on this matter?
My only question is on their task 3 for hourly rates for construction engineering is, do we have a process or protocol, or can we establish a process or protocol for who orders that work from them? And I think that from where I'm going with this is making sure that we are not necessarily on the clock for a billing clock for work ordered by a contractor. So when bidding, if you're looking at the bidding documents and the answers to your questions or your potential questions are right there in the bidding documents, but it's easier to pick up the phone and call Fishbeck and say, hey, gee, what do we do here? Rather than going and looking at your homework, we're going to pay the bill for the engineer to tell you what to do when it's right there in your homework package. And I think that happens all too often when somebody else is paying the bill. Sometimes the contractors may find that easier route to find the answers to their queries. So wanted to ensure that we have some type of mechanism in place in the contract to ensure that the questions go to us first, a representative from the City of Gibraltar. If it's something, we can refer them back to their construction documents, or we can answer easily from within and not incur an hourly billing statement from the consultant or engineer. That's something that we should probably achieve here.
I think it's a good flag. Do we, with the transition that is in front of us, would there be like yourself or Councilman Cox or somebody with expertise that could maybe serve in that capacity, or is there another solution you think would be best?
Well, I guess this is for the
design.
Right, well, in the.
And the install. Task 3 is the install. Task 1 and 2 are set dollar amounts that are in there. Task 3 is for the construction of the new water main, and those hourly rates and stuff were included in the bid packets when it was given to City Council for approval. I didn't put it back in here, I just put the 9-page contract. They gave the whole bid package again, was 142 pages. I tried to not give you guys 142 pages again. But if you go back into the bid packets, their hourly rates are described in there.
I think it's more about the oversight of those, correct?
Yeah, because this isn't until April of 2026.
Okay, so
by the time we get to this phase in
we'll
task
have
3,
somebody to-
I think we'll have the resources placed, but maybe just something to flag for administrative oversight when we get to that, so we don't rack up a bill that we're not in full anticipation of for no good reason.
Noted.
I'll volunteer for it.
I love it. Thank you. Appreciate that. All right, we'll put a flag there, and then obviously, to your point, the April timeline, we'll make sure we're getting in front of that accordingly with oversight. Any further discussion? Clerk Tomasic, we'll have you call roll.
Valentine?
Yes.
Walden?
Yes.
Wood? Cox?
Yes.
McNabb?
Yes.
Molnar?
Yes.
Schumate?
Yes. City Administrator Blackburn, back to you.
The last time I have on the agenda is purchase of a 2-inch water meter. This falls over the $1,000 limit, so we're looking for council approval for payment.
Motion to approve.
Motion by Molnar, is there a second? Second by McNabb, if I heard correctly. Any discussion on this matter? Clerk Tomasic, please call roll.
Walden?
Yes.
Wood?
Yes.
Cox?
Yes.
McNabb?
Yes.
Molnar?
Yes.
Schumate?
Yes.
Valentine?
Yes.
All right, Clerk Tomasic, floor is yours.
All right, I have one item tonight. This is on behalf of the city assessor. It is an amendment to the 2025 poverty exemption guidelines that council approved back in January or February. Per Public Act 660, the State Tax Commission is required to perform audits of every assessing office in the state of Michigan. The audits take place every 5 years and are used to determine if our assessing office is in compliance with Public Act 660. The City of Gibraltar was audited this year, and we were found to be in compliance with all substantial items. There was one minor correction that the auditor asked us to correct, and that is to remove one line from our poverty guidelines. I attached an image for council of what would be removed, and also attached the revised version of the 2025 poverty exemption guidelines. So I'm looking for a motion to adopt the revised version. This is recommended by our city assessor, the auditor, and the attorney has also looked at it.
Make a motion to approve.
A motion by Molnar, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Walden. Any discussion on this matter? Clerk Tomasic, thank you for bringing this, and we'll turn to you to call roll whenever you're ready.
Wood?
Yes.
Cox?
Yes.
McNabb?
Yes.
Molnar?
Yes.
Schumate?
Yes.
Valentine?
Yes.
Walden?
Yes.
Motion carried. Anything else on your end?
Concludes my report.
All right, Treasurer Fonte, floor is yours.
No comment, Mayor.
Any questions for Treasurer Fonte? Finance Director McEwen, floor is yours.
Okay, I just wanted to thank council for sending me to my training. I really appreciate it. Gives me a lot of new knowledge and that I can implement into the city, and it's just very beneficial to me. So, and to the city. So I just wanted to say thank you and that I greatly appreciate that. And that is all I got.
Amazing. Any questions for Finance Director McEwen? All right, we'll turn over to Chief Bullard.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor and Council. Since the last council meeting, the police department's responded to 117 calls for service, had 11 incident reports, 1 arrest, 9 traffic citations, 3 juvenile school resource investigations, and 3 Detective Bureau investigations. Under my news, 3 computers have been purchased and installed in both the fire department and police department, updating from Windows 10 to Windows 11. Windows 10 will no longer be supported after October 25th, 2025. I also reached out to both Conrail and Canadian National numerous times and finally received an update on the track repair from Conrail for Middle Gibraltar Road, which had begun and concluded today. Conrail is also scheduled, or they closed Old Fort Street today, and they've begun track repair, and they're scheduled to conclude that on the 17th, and they're scheduled to work on Vreeland Road for the week of 6/23 and 6/28. In your packets, I've included the attached map and email correspondences. I did receive a response from Canadian National and was advised that the submitted my track requests to their Public Works and Public Affairs Department. I'm on my 4th email to Canadian National, and I've yet to receive a response. So I'll probably send an email every day, if not every other day, so until I get a response. So bear with me, please. Also, revised citizen complaint policy 200-19 in our policies and procedures, and it was implemented in both the police and dispatch. I also had the WAMR program installed on a 4th monitor in dispatch. I'm working on Mr. Fonier's some language for a department policy, so we can call out DPW immediately if a water main break, spike, et cetera, is detected. Attached to my packet is the All Traffic Solutions Report, which we're still in the 4-week study, or the 2nd week of the study on Adams and Stoflet. So I'll bring that 4-week study to the next council meeting. Attached to my packet is the Records Clerk Report, the Ordinance Officer's Report. I do not have any action items, and that is the end of my report. Thank you.
Well, Chief Bullard, as we opened up with, and as many have reinforced, just thinking about you and the department, expressing our deep appreciation on this National Police Week for everything that you and the department do. Appreciate that immensely.
Thank you.
Council, any questions or comments for Chief Bullard?
Chief, I'm gonna,
Thank you for your diligence with the railroad company. It sometimes can be a long road, but
I'm persistent.
Appreciate the persistence.
Yeah.
Well said.
And maybe our friends from Ms. Linting's office can take note and try and reach out to CN Railroad. And what was the railroad, the second one?
Canadian National.
Yeah, Canadian
Conrail is, they're on the ball fixing the tracks. It's just Canadian National is not very responsive.
Yeah, just anything we can do to keep handling them, so thanks for the effort.
Send me email addresses.
Okay,
So,
cool. Thank you.
Chief, I'm gonna kill 2 birds with 1 stone and say, thanks to the police department and the fire department. I got a little bit of a report of the incident yesterday, and it sounds like you guys are on the ball. I know we call them high-risk, low-frequency events, and it sounds like everything went about as good as it could yesterday, and just want to thank you for keeping the community safe and doing everything you do for us.
Thank you so much. Well, what a great segue then to Interim Chief Simon. Just one thing to note, Council, and you'll see this in her packet. We had obviously led the meeting also with honoring EMS Week, which is next week. Council, I did, since we are here today and since our next meeting is not till the 28th, I did send, for anybody that has an electronic device, I did send a email that Interim Chief Simon had shared with me related to kind of a resolution that you might consider in support of EMS Week. It gives some day-by-day events and celebration elements, so feel free to flag that if you do have access to your electronic device. But Interim Chief Simon, will turn over the floor to you.
Thank you. Good evening, Mayor and Council. Since the last meeting, for the report period of 4/24 to 5/7, we had 15 EMS runs. 2 were mutual aid. 1 was from Brownstown and 1 was from Rockwood for Manpower. We had 2 fire calls. 1 was an auto aid 2 Flat Rock for a total of 17 calls in a 14-day reporting period. You'll see some other data there as far as previous year run volumes. Since the last report, we have conducted 1 interview for a new member, and I've got 2 pending. So it's nice to see a steady influx of interest in the fire department. Some of our members participated in the Fight for Air Climb on 5/4. This was 6 personnel that raised $1,550 for the American Lung Association. They went and climbed some stairs over at Comerica Park. It's a lot of stairs. They did a great job and raised a good amount of money for a good cause. Upcoming, we've got EMS Week, obviously. We conducted our state EMS agency license renewal today. A special thank you to Sergeant Schaefer for all of the work he did in preparation for this. We completed it with no incidents. Everything passed with flying colors. Firefighter Johnson as well supported him today in that effort. So great job to both of them. This weekend, we've got the Corewell Health 2025 Hospital Safety Day we'll be participating in, and the Rockwood Memorial Day Parade on the 26th. So you'll see I do have one communication, which was just some more information on EMS Week, celebrating both police and fire in the city of Gibraltar. We kind of have a unique situation where we have our police officers certified as EMTs, which is fantastic. As a Sergeant LaFleur stated earlier, it's great having those folks on scene, giving us information, getting vitals, supporting us in that effort so that when we do get on scene, we can transport rapidly or make other assessments. So kudos to PD for supporting, kudos to all of our EMS personnel for everything they do every day. They're absolutely fantastic. As you can see, we've got the EMS Week information as far as what things we're celebrating each day. And that's all I've got. That concludes my report.
Thank you so much for the update. And again, we're very excited for you and appreciative of you for EMS Week in front of us. And I think, Council, I know this is on the spot to put you in, but there is a resolution that I shared with you via email. You do have the option, if we want, to adopt a resolution in support of this EMS Week. The resolution I also included, Clerk Tomasic, is proclamation honoring EMS Week 2025. We care for everyone. Comments on the dates and inclusion of the dates that Interim Chief Simon has included in her report this evening, and then really kind of reinforces now, therefore, be it proclaimed that the Mayor and City Council of the City of Gibraltar hereby recognize the week of May 18 through 24, 2025 as Emergency Medical Services Week, and encourage all residents to express their appreciation for the extraordinary service of the local EMS personnel, our firefighters, police officers, and all those who dedicate themselves to saving lives and strengthening our community. So if you do, I can pass this around for anybody that doesn't have access to their device if they want to take a look at this. If not, we could retroactively approve it, obviously at our next council meeting on the 28th, but just want to give you an opportunity to do that if you so chose.
I'd love to make that motion.
So we have a motion by Molnar. It's in your electronic communication. I know you will have full confidence in this. I'm sorry that you don't have this in your packet, but I want to make sure I could flag it while we're sitting here live celebrating our people in advance. So motion by Molnar, I hear. Clerk Tomasic gets all written out for you, and I have you on that email as well. Second by McNabb. Any discussion outside of reinforcing our appreciation?
I think it does wonders for morale, and really, you know, when you're at work and people are supporting you and throughout the day and telling you a good job, it gives you purpose, and I think that it's a wonderful morale boost to recognize them, and not just in this setting from proclamation, but like you had mentioned in it, notify our residents, because those are the ones that the thank yous mean so much from. So if we notify our residency of creating next week as that week per the proclamation, I think that will do wonders for our morale going forward.
Incredibly well said. Council, any other discussion items? Clerk Tomasic will have you call roll whenever you're ready.
Cox?
Yes.
McNabb?
Yes.
Molnar?
Yes.
Schumate?
Yes.
Valentine?
Yes.
Walden?
Yes.
Wood?
Yes.
Resolution carried. With that, we will close out your report, and we will go to unfinished business, for which there is none, new business, for which there is none, tabled and referred items, for which there is none, which we'd love to open up back to public comment. Do we have any members of public that would like to make a comment for council this evening? Please.
Cindy Feskel, 29514 Adams Drive. I just want to thank the police chief for everything he's putting on Facebook. I appreciated those stop signs, the things about the railroad and about the shooting. I mean, it's really very good that we're getting knowledge, so keep it up. Thank you.
Incredibly well said. I echo that, and I know thank you to Clerk Tomasic too on the broader City of Gibraltar page. I think we're doing a very good job in digital communication with our community, so thank you all. Interim Chief Simon, I know through your department as well, so thank you. Any other public comment this evening for council? All right. Well, with that being said, council, I would like a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Motion by Walden. Is there a second? Second by Wood. Any discussion? Clerk Tomasic, if you could call us roll.
McNabb?
Yes.
Molnar?
Yes.
Schumate?
Yes.
Valentine?
Yes.
Walden?
Yes.
Wood? Yes. Cox?
Yes.
Have a wonderful evening, everyone. Meeting adjourned.
Well done, you two. Well done. Always is, isn't it? Okay, so yesterday,
See what? Can you tell? I haven't never filmed my face since yesterday. I took a little cruise out yesterday, so he was mad at me. I caught 4, he caught 1. So actually I caught 5.
you need to switch those numbers around to boost his confidence and say Little Bruce caught him.
Every year he outfishes me. This year I can't let him win every year.
You know what it is, it's a new boat. You pay for a new boat. So I was at JP